why is it so hard for agents to keep the thing they know is the most important thing, the most important thing? What helps hold your people accountable to doing the things they need to do to have the businesses they want to have? Because accountability, I mean, it's everybody's kryptonite, right? I mean, I talk to some of the best realtors in this city a lot, and they're not good at prioritizing and holding themselves accountable to what's most important. And yet they're great realtors and they're doing great. My question is, how much better could you be if you had that cling on, just I'm going to hold on to that as tight as I can, I'm not going to let it go?
Sure. It's, I mean, there are a handful of different things that come to mind for me that this might be a little bit of an unconventional answer. Stick with me for a second, please.
I'm with you.
First is I would say as a coach, I'm actually not great at holding people accountable.
Right.
Which is a weird thing to say as a coach because it's something that people come to me and say, well, the number one thing I'm looking for is accountability. I think what you actually want is somebody to be in the trenches with you. And yes, accountability is part of that. So I'll answer the accountability question first, and then I'll give you some kind of between the pages stuff that I think you might appreciate. I think there's an inherent accountability to being in a business relationship with someone that you know cares about you and your business. And one of the things that I think differentiates us from most of our competitors, and we said this when we started the company, is I've been coached my entire life, both as an athlete and as a business person. And my best coaches were always the ones who knew me the best, who knew what made me tick, who knew what buttons to push and what buttons to stay away from, because we all have those too. And I believe they genuinely cared about me. Pat Lencioni talks about that as a foundational level of trust in the relationship. We can't have healthy conflict with each other, which is part of holding someone accountable. We can't have healthy conflict with each other if we both don't believe that we're in the trenches together, that I care about you, that you care about me, and this is a relationship first and business second.
So the first coaching appointment I ever had, my coach said, how do you view accountability? Right? True story. And she said, what do you think of when you hear the word accountability? And I said, I think of you holding a saddle and sneaking up on me. And when I'm not looking, strapping on, getting on, and riding me like And she started laughing. And I said, what's so funny? And she said, I think you have the most warped sense of accountability I've ever heard.
Let's call us over.
So, no. It was actually the beginning of a beautiful relationship. Because what she pointed out was, so you don't trust me, right? What I hear is you don't trust anybody that would hold you accountable. And I was like, it's probably fair to say after that description, right? And she said, what if you could, right? What would it look like if let's take the word accountability out of it, what would it look like? And it kind of ended up in your lane. What if I really did care about you? What if I wasn't trying to sneak up on you and do something to you? What if I was in it and helping you succeed and I was on your team and you saw me as a partner? And I was like, well, we can talk about that. And we did for a long time. But it was, it makes a huge difference. Because I do think, if any of what my definition was resonates with you, it's because it's and I've said with coaching, it is, it's like dating. You can kiss a pretty girl and no sparks, right? There's a thing called chemistry. And sometimes you get a coach because they're a great coach and you think, I hate this. Coaching sucks, right? And it's like, no, you had a bad date with a coach. You need to go on a date with a better coach or a coach that identifies with you more or whatever that looks like.
Sure.
Because I think when you find the right person, like in any relationship, you get it, right? You just get it. So I think that's awesome.
And thank you for your affirmation on that. Even within our organization, we have certain clients, like we all have unique styles, just like you do in your businesses. Certain clients are going to resonate with my style. Certain clients are going to resonate with my business partner Debbie's style. The people who love Debbie, they still love me as a person. However, they love her much more as a coach. You would probably like her more than you like me. The jury's still out. However, going back to foundational trust in the relationship leads to healthy conflict. And I think what I see a lot of is just the unwillingness to have a difficult conversation.
Can you stop 1 second?
Yeah.
Will everybody write down the word healthy conflict? If that does not pound you in the back of the brain, healthy conflict.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Well, and to build on the healthy conflict thing for just a second, because this is outside of business. You all have a person in your life right now, I guarantee you, that if you got out of line, whatever that represents, that they care enough about you that they would grab you by the earlobe or snatch you up by the underwear, and they would tell you what you need to hear. Not necessarily what you want to hear. And in that moment, you may be really upset that they said that thing. Yet, could you see where you would say, all right, I was mad at you when you said that, and you were right. Now, to get to that point in a relationship, most of the time, you've known that person for decades. They're a sibling, they're a best friend, they're a spouse or partner, which can be a slippery slope sometimes. However, usually it took decades to get there. What I'm talking about in a business relationship is how do you accelerate that trust, which we won't have time to get into today, but I do believe that the accountability piece is ultimately rooted in foundational trust and healthy conflict.
For sure. For sure.
So I would say the other thing, though, on the accountability piece, and this is more of an inside thing, so let me kind of stab two things for you. First, this is a fascinating topic to better understand yourself and your relationship with accountability. There's a book and an extensive research project done on this topic by a lady named Gretchen Rubin, R-U-B-I-N. She wrote a book called The Four Tendencies. They have almost 3 million data points on this. It's a free quiz online you can take. From that and the book, she breaks down that we all have a relationship with accountability in two forms. One form of accountability is our inner expectations, what we expect of ourselves. And then the other is the outer expectations put on us by the world or by other people. And not to get into teaching the book, understanding, though, how your personal relationship is with that is important to knowing the best accountability mechanism. So I identify very highly with what the tendency referred to as a rebel. So a rebel, you could probably imagine, basically says, I don't like to be told what to do. I like to blaze my own trail, which generally means holding me accountable is tough because I feel like someone's throwing a saddle on my back, to use Shaun's analogy. Knowing that about myself means that I have to have a very specific person and a very specific relationship in order to be open to that accountability. I have multiple coaches and great relationships, so don't mistake that as because you're a rebel, you're not coachable. Just because you're a rebel, you have to be really clear about what you need and who that person is. Otherwise, you're just going to tell people to kick rocks all the time. You can't tell me what to do. My company, come on, get out of here.
There's when we look at leadership in offices, I've always said there's two types of leaders. There's two types of leaders that work, and the ones that there's a leader that you can put anywhere in the country, in any market center, anywhere, and would kill it. And then there's the leader that wouldn't kill it anywhere, but in the right place would crush it. Right? And I think that's you may be more difficult, which means that you're not coachable. It doesn't mean you're not coachable. It means that the number of coaches out there that would be a perfect fit for you are smaller than somebody who's easily coached.
Very small. The other thing I would say, and I know we're down the accountability rabbit trail, I want to offer to you, though, some other things that I think have been important to me and our clients, and I think could be for you as well.
Right.
I think one of the challenges that we have and why we don't do the things that we intend to do is because we are tired or we're distracted. Would you agree or disagree with that? Now, that's not an all-inclusive list, yet perhaps you can relate to being tired or distracted. I know I can. Not to get too far down the rabbit hole on this, if you were to go back to inside-out approach and say, okay, well, I know the things, or at least I think I know the things that contribute to me being tired. Sleep quality, nutrition, hydration, stress, alcohol, all the stuff that, and I'm not judging anyone, please don't hear this. I mean, I'm not on a mountaintop, we are all on a journey. Make a list of all the stuff you know that drains your energy and work to remove those things. Because I would argue that if you had a great night's sleep and you felt fresh and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed every single morning, more stuff would get done. Agree or disagree?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So if you go on this journey, for multi-year journey, and know that there are classic truths to what equate to more energy in your body, and figure out what that means for you, you'll look up and miraculously you'll just get more stuff done because you wake up with 100% battery life, not 75% battery life. And then the same on distractions, just to basically say, if this represents you at a level 10, and right now you're saying you're at a level 8, what's all the stuff that's distracting you, maybe even insignificant stuff that's distracting you, if you operated through subtraction versus addition. So here's an interesting quick concept for you. We're all kind of hardwired to say if I want to get bigger or better, I got to go add more stuff. That would be growth by addition. What if, though, you looked at it and said, well, maybe the track to improvement is subtraction of unnecessary things. And I think a lot of us are distracted by insignificant things that we maybe even sort of haphazardly accumulated, or that the world put on you. So while not necessarily an accountability question, I do think it's more of a productivity answer to say, what do I need to do to optimize my body, my spirit, if that's applicable to you, to have more energy to go do more stuff. And then you just have to have less awkward conversations about the stuff that you didn't do that you said you were going to do. So you sort of hack accountability. I don't know if that's helpful or if I'm just entertaining myself now.
No, that's great. There's a book I got wrote called Effortless. There's a concept in there called stop doing less, or a not to do list, which is exactly that.
Sure.
So thank you for validating.
Yeah, absolutely.